is Avi Lewis, and I'm running to be leader of the federal NDP.
Ce monde est possible, mais il faut le créer ensemble.
It's not about me, it's about us. And it's about how we come together and build power together.
This campaign from day one has said we need to do away with the cult of leadership. We need movements. We need militant trade unions, but not only of Oregon. We need a common front against rising fascism in our time. And if you take
Let's get to work.
Savhanna, and I've been the campaign manager for this wild and beautiful operation that you've just caught a glimpse of. The movement to make Avi Lewis the next leader of the NDP. I said yes to this invitation because I needed a sliver of hope. Watching the world around us grow more hostile to everyday people, I was really excited to organize an unapologetically values-driven campaign that puts people first. Because I believed that a better world was possible, and now I know that it is. Everything we're doing is done with other people, so I want to bring out some of the incredible organizers that have made this all possible. This is our team, and this is just a few of the people who have propelled this campaign across 30 communities in 9 provinces and territories, sold memberships in 338 out of the 343 ridings, collected donations from over 10,000 people across the country, and signed up over 8,400 volunteers from coast to coast to coast, joining together to become the architects of our shared future. Our campaign has become a gathering place for people who are ready to get out and build the world we deserve ourselves. And we are doing it in the way that it should be done. We're doing it with art and music and laughter and celebration and friendship and with love. It is my absolute honor to introduce 3 of the people who have helped us along the way. We're so grateful to have with us this morning to nominate Avi Lewis, the legendary MP of Winnipeg Centre, Leah Gazan, our next NDP president, Niall Ricardo, and author, activist, and Avi Lewis superfan, Naomi Klein. Please give it up for Leah.
Hello, New Democrats. My name is Leah Gazan, and I am the proud MP for Winnipeg Centre, or as you know, what I like to call it, the center of the universe. We are the home of J.S. Woodsworth, home of the General Strike, and welcome to the place where we are going to elect Avi Lewis as the next leader of the NDP. His campaign has inspired thousands upon thousands of people to come to events, donate their time and money, and join our party. I see a movement, and it's because Avi speaks truth to power and has offered up real solutions like a public option for food and groceries. He understands that gender equality, the right to access safe abortions, and gender-affirming care are bread and butter issues. He stands up for Indigenous rights, human rights, and speaks out against genocide without apology or exception. He is no liberal light. He is a proud democratic socialist. We faced diversity before, and each time we picked ourselves up and we've come back stronger than ever. This is not a city of quitters. We are not a movement of quitters. Avi and I are not quitters. We're fighters. Join us. Let's build a party for the 99% together that will take on the billionaires and win.
Chers amis, chers camarades, je vous parle aujourd'hui avec conviction parce que ce parti, c'est chez moi, c'est chez nous. Depuis que j'ai 18 ans, j'ai vu des membres extraordinaires, le sel de la terre, qui continuent de se battre avec solidarité et espoir. Mais le moment exige plus de nous. Face aux défis qui vivent les gens, on a besoin de croire en notre force collective. Parce que quand on s'organise, qu'on se tient ensemble, qu'on n'a pas peur d'être qui nous sommes vraiment, un parti fier, ancré dans nos valeurs, du côté des gens, il n'y a rien qu'on ne peut pas accomplir. Et c'est ça que propose Avi. Des solutions ambitieuses, oui, mais surtout une capacité de rassembler, de mobiliser, de nous amener à croire à nouveau en ce que nous pouvons faire ensemble. Avant tout, cela signifie que la transformation ne viendra jamais d'un parti seul. Elle naîtra d'une convergence vivante entre les mobilisations de rue, les luttes syndicales, les mouvements communautaires, la résistance autochtone, les réseaux internationaux de solidarité. Et oui, les espaces institutionnels lorsqu'ils peuvent être conquis. C'est cette convergence qui incarne Avi Lewis. Du Québec, cela ressonne profondément en nous. Nous savons que les véritables acquis ne sont jamais le fruit d'un don, mais d'une lutte acharnée. La révolution tranquille, les droits syndicaux, l'éducation publique, les soins de santé universels, les avancées féministes. Tout cela est né de la lutte et non d'un consensus. C'est pourquoi nous devons nous rallier à Avi, car ce moment historique n'appelle pas à la prudence. Il exige du courage. Alors soyons à l'auteur, soyons fiers et avançons ensemble. Avec Avi, tout devient possible. Merci.
Thank you, Niall, Leah, Savhanna. Thank you to everyone on this stage and in this room and watching across the country who have helped power this amazing campaign. Now, many of you already know that I'm not just a super fan. I happen to be married to Avi Lewis and have been, for 30 years. So I can tell you a few things. I can tell you with quite a bit of authority how kind he is, how funny, how generous. I can tell you what an amazing father he is, the way he just makes the perfect breakfast and lunch every morning for our son every time he's in town. I can tell you that he is obsessed with the Blue Jays and has what is to me a completely inexplicable love for Dungeons and Dragons. I knew that would kill. I can also tell you that Avi is the most dedicated son to his parents, Stephen and Michelle, who I know are watching from Toronto right now. Contrary to the opinion of a very long line of doctors, Stephen Lewis was not going to miss this weekend for the world. I know that it can seem strange to people who aren't that political, but our lives are completely intertwined with politics, with left ideas, with social movements, and there is no way I would rather live. For 30 years, Avi and I have been having a never-ending conversation about how we win the thriving world that we need. One that prioritizes art and friendship and kids and freedom and the health of the living world. And how to beat the disaster capitalists who are standing in our way. Right now, in Canada, the way we win that thriving, beautiful world is we elect Avi Lewis, the leader of the NDP. My friends, it's time to reweave the left in Canada. Connect all of our issues to each other in a common story and into a common front. We need to remind the hardworking people in this country that there are real alternatives to the far-right politics of hate and division and the so-called centrist policies of oligarchy and austerity. As you've heard, Avi's campaign is about so much more than him. It is an invitation to rebuild the NDP into a bold and exciting force from the bottom up for organizing in Canada, something that we desperately need if we're going to wrest this country back from the bankers and corporate overlords who have been dampening our dreams for far too long. This campaign is about creating an NDP that belongs to each and every one of us, a welcoming and sturdy party that will bring our movements together, movements for Indigenous sovereignty and labor rights and climate justice and racial and gender and disability justice. Together, we are going to help each other dream big once again. So today I am asking you to stand with me and thousands of others to nominate Avi and rebuild this party with radical and joyful energy. One phone call, one event, one canvas, and yes, one donation at a time. This has been one hell of a campaign. Relentlessly positive, hardworking, creative, and so much fun. We are at the finish line, and now we are going to wake this country up together. Now it is my absolute pleasure to bring to the stage my partner in life and in troublemaking, the next leader of the federal NDP, Avi Lewis. Where is he?
Bonjour tout le monde! Merci Naomi, merci Savhanna, Leah, Niall et chaque membre de notre équipe, tous les bénévoles, donateurs et donatrices à notre campagne. This has been a 7-month marathon at the speed of a sprint, and it has been the thrill of a lifetime to run it with all of you. And now we're so close to the finish line and the start of a much bigger race to bring our party back from the wilderness and into the heart of Canadian political life once again. This campaign has played out against the backdrop of one of the bleakest times we have ever lived. War and genocide, economic attacks and threats of annexation, and for all Canadians, the grinding everyday emergency of the cost of living out of control. And yet, our journey across this vast land has been punctuated with hope. The daily victories of care and compassion, the seeds of a brighter future planted by workers and neighbors in the soil of struggle. Here's a few memories that will stay with me. The New Flyer bus factory right here in Winnipeg. A Unifor shop floor bursting with pride and camaraderie, making electric and hybrid buses with Canadian steel for use across the country. The plant has $13.5 billion in back orders, everyone shining with the promise of a clean transportation revolution waiting to happen. The Northern Community Land Trust in Whitehorse, where local housing activists have built homes that young families with modest incomes can buy, most of them under $300,000. Homes that can never be flipped, only sold for the original price plus inflation. That's true non-market housing. Un rassemblement passionnant à Montréal, avec de la musique, de la joie, une ferveur politique et 400 personnes qui ont chanté pour redonner vie à notre parti au Québec. A conversation with a 40-year veteran of the oil patch beside an abandoned well in Edmonton. We talked about how the disaster of these dangerous, tapped-out wells could turn into a reclamation boom. Decades of good jobs for oil and gas workers in cleaning up these sites rather than drilling new ones. All paid for with the swollen profits of oil companies if the law of polluter pays was actually enforced. And that's what fires me up. This country is filled with wise and caring people who are already hard at work, building the solutions we need to all the crises we face. And that includes all of you dedicated NDPers who have never abandoned hope despite all the predictions of our demise. Our campaign, as you know, has been powered by a set of simple principles that we believe are key to our collective comeback. First, we stay laser-focused on the cost of living crisis, the everyday emergency of just getting by in an impossible economy. We are the only party that criticizes capitalism. So we're the only party that can tell Canadians the truth about why everything is so expensive. And you know what it is. A handful of giant corporations dominate every sector of our economy. Ces cartels coopératifs fixent les prix, contrôlent les marchés et profitent de la crise du coût de la vie. Donc le système fonctionne exactement comme il a été conçu. Il concentre la richesse et le pouvoir entre les mains d'une petite élite. Second, in the face of inequality at an all-time high, we are done nibbling around the edges. It's time to fight for solutions that are actually as big as the crises we face. Solutions that are popular, practical, and can inspire Canadians in these incredibly hard times. From head-to-toe healthcare, to fare-free transit, to tuition-free education, we can fire up our base and build a bigger coalition. We do it by fighting for the big wins that would truly change everyday people's lives. It doesn't mean we can win them tomorrow, but I'll tell you what it does do. It brings in new organizers from communities already in the struggle. It builds the energy, excitement, and ground game that we need to win. Third, we're not shy about saying the loud part out loud. We're not burying our politics in platitudes. We're communicating with straight talk, grounded in moral clarity. Quand Israël commet un génocide à Gaza, nous appelons les choses par leur nom. When the U.S. and Israel start an illegal and reprehensible war against Iran that sets the world on fire, we say Canada should have absolutely no role in it whatsoever. Fourth, Canadians don't want a two-party system. But we in the NDP need a political offer that cannot be confused with or co-opted by either the Liberals or Conservatives. We're at a high-stakes moment in human history. Canadians know we are at a crossroads, and we need a clear vision for how we get through this, how we can protect Canada from Trump and all the chaos and toxic slop he generates, how we can come out stronger, more stable, more secure, because that's not where we're headed now. Under the Carney government, the path ahead is paved with unprecedented corporate welfare for the billionaire Epstein class and more insecurity for the rest of us. C'est la voie sur laquelle les libéraux et les conservateurs nous entraînent en adoptant ensemble à Ottawa des projets de loi qui sont vraiment affreux. This agenda doubles down on the past, exporting ever more raw resources. It follows the lead of the U.S. with more pipelines and ballooning military spending. It embraces Silicon Valley's job-killing generative AI with no brakes or meaningful regulation. This is a recipe for a future of continued chaos. Fossil fuels alone destabilize our world in many ways at once. They attract explosive wars. They drive inflation and pain at the pump and beyond. And they accelerate climate breakdown. But there is another path. And it's our job as the NDP to light the way. It's a safer path, one that leads to a calmer, less volatile future. A path that makes common cause with countries around the world that are quickly moving away from the boom and bust roller coaster of oil and gas. Like the UK, which just this week mandated solar panels and heat pumps in every new home build as a response to the oil price shock. For Canada, it's a path on which we harness some of the vast wealth of our nation and use the tool of public ownership to put it to work directly solving the everyday crises we face. That means building houses that families can afford with public developers hiring public construction companies. Tens of thousands of good unionized jobs retrofitting those homes, manufacturing and installing those heat pumps to slash energy bills and emissions at the same time. Yes. Public options for groceries, cell phones, and pharmaceuticals, ensuring that working-class Canadians can buy essential goods and services with lower prices and higher wages. In short, it's a vision of the federal government using its power to go after some of the immense undertaxed wealth of this country and put it to use in directly making life easier and more secure for Canadians. It's a path to a Canada where we're happier, healthier, safer, and proud of our role on the international stage. We know how to build power behind this vision because we're already doing it on this campaign. We generate excitement with our bold ideas. We turn that excitement into momentum through organizing. We supercharge our organizing by trusting our base to lead at the riding level. We build back our ground game well in advance of the next election and win more seats. We fling open the doors to the 99% and become once again, as my grandfather David Lewis called it in the 1940s, a political instrument of the people. So friends, for Tommy and David and Ed, for Audrey and Alexa, for Jack and Jagmeet, for all the fighters who came before, Canada needs a strong NDP now more than ever. Let's get to work. Merci tout le monde.